Hello everyone, I have not uploaded since like forever. I guess this is going to be a bit of an unhinged rant about JavaScript. I guess I'll fire up the game. It's pretty buggy. While I was in school, I was making stuff like this. The dark theme's messing it up, but I don't really care. Ah, frick, I suck at this. I know there's like an immortality mode. Oh, might not have it in now. Have to browse the source. I think I remember it. Yeah, that totally works. The game's really, really buggy. That. um. You know what took me even longer to actually finish this game? I don't think this game is possible to complete. Mostly due to its jankiness. But yeah, I added stuff like water. That green stuff is slime. It's like, you go really fast on ice. And slow on slime. Yeah, it was this one. It's like you go under here. You know, this is where I actually use in full effect. So you can speed up and stuff. Have to go along with the flow here. And it's fine. So that's basically the game. Pretty buggy. If you notice, I ran it in Firefox and it was just straight up JavaScript, like all the way. The reason I did that was partly due to the purpose of the game. It started when cool math games got blocked at my school, and you know that's just unacceptable. You know, we can't have that. So I started working on Squarism, and it took me. Yeah, so I started it in 2022, so that's about like 40 days. I don't know why I didn't look at it. It's. Whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch text editor. You may or may not know it. Looks like this. Pretty cool. I guess I'll start with the common stuff. Most important, the vector. So it's basically kind of a mixy mash of things. You know, we have the coordinates and whatnot. Now, this library I wrote here, it really abuses JavaScript's quote-unquote dynamic typing, like, completely. And of course, when I mean dynamic typing, I mean completely detached from reality. In fact, it's so detached from reality, I had to do stupid checks like this. Because, I'll explain. X would need an array put in. So first I have to check if it's an object, because arrays are objects, and it's so confusing. It's like, there's an object type, but if you pass a number, you'd expect an object, right? No, that's not correct. In fact, it just give number. Arrays the only thing to have this behavior, which is strange. So of course we had to have checks like these, which are really, really stupid. Um, um, you know, check. You had to bring it back to reality somewhat. And the arguments. I don't know why JavaScript did this, but whatever. It's like the arguments, you expect it to be an array, but no. So I had to do this hack where I expand it in this array and then with the dot 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 operator, so it's actually an array, and I can operate it on an array as such. It's a stupid hack. Anyway, if it's 1 and we pass an array, we'll just fill it up with that. But if it's 2 and you have a fill, which is this, 3 different types, so I can distinguish what's what. And the first one's number. I'll just set it to 0. But if none of those are the case, then I'm just going to copy what I get. And I return it because, oh yeah, it was so you can do chain operations. So I returned this. You can do like .add, .mul, whatever. And that actually turned out to be really convenient during development. Oh yeah, and we have the assign function, pretty simple. And then initx just fills it with a certain number. I don't know if that's redundant. No, it's not redundant. So like if you wanted to fill a vector with 1, what you would do is new vector 3.init 1, like that. And the math operation, okay, so it checks if it's this. So if we do that, then it just operate on itself. And also, this is kind of a nightmare, so I just made this whole circumvention to get around that. The operation, I believe, is a yeah, it is a function. I like that JavaScript has first-class functions as first-class citizens. That's a good thing about JavaScript, but it's not. You know, it doesn't belong to JavaScript. Of course, you had to check if it's a number, all that fun stuff. This is actually very, I believe that most of the time the game is in this function most of the time. I'm pretty, the operator, I believe, was just this little tidbit here, expanded, so I got rid of it. That's confusing. I think that would fix it. And then, of course, I have the basic 5 operations. Oh yeah, and Swizzle, this actually turned out to be really useful. It'll take a bit of explaining. Let's say I have a vector of 1, 2, and 3. If I wanted to do 3, 2, 1, like 3, 1, 2, I would do z. I'd do z, so that's this number. X, y, so we go for c, which is 3. X is just 1, and 2 is y. So this vector would turn into 3, 1, 2. A lot of times, I mean, it's not really necessary, but it's very convenient sometimes. And the toString, the reason I have the start is because when I'm assigning a color to context 2D or canvas, the canvas is context 2D. I use the vector as a color, so if I wanted to say, give me white color, I can just do that. And it's called, it explains why it's called toString, so I won't get into that. And then this vector thing just has functions which are convenience functions, basically. Um, that's pretty much it. I want to versus playing something that's fun. We have animation. We have this custom interpolation. I'm pretty sure just takes in. Yeah, it just takes in equations so you can have like smoothness and elasticity. I'm not too. I don't think I use it in the code. Um, boring stuff. Oh, the canvas. This is lots of fun. Favorite line out of the whole thing. If you're on Internet Explorer, uh, you know, I was mostly targeting school Chromebooks because I got into that earlier. Um, yeah, all sorts of fun stuff. I don't want to get into that. The event, pretty self-explanatory. Not too sure what that means. Oh, that's what it means. Okay. I'm pretty sure I had this to like fix a bug, and it was sort of effective. No, actually, no, it did its job, so it was just fine. So let's say you went on to another tab. Window.request animation frame would make any more frames. That's one of the things they did to make it more efficient. At least that's what Chrome did. So, of course, oh yeah, and also velocity is based on past frame times. So, if you wanted to go from this side of the screen, you can just hold D, switch to a tab, and wait a few minutes, and voila, you've not a few minutes, like a few seconds. I don't know. Depends on the screen size. And then you'd end up there. So that's pretty much all it does. That's obvious. That's not all it does. It does more than that. It does one more thing to fix that, because that's a bug, which is to say that 10 frames per second is basically the hard limit. Keys, key access is kind of like Unity's key access, except there's a strength. It's just if it's pressed. It's kind of like is action pressed on Godot. The mouse, kind of a nightmare thing. Convenience syntax, cool. I know no one cares, and neither do I, so I won't get into it. Basically, just lifting myself from the nightmare that is the, I don't even know what you call it. It's like the web API or something. Here's something that's lots of fun. The editor. I don't really know how this works at all. If you want to go ahead and piece that together, go right ahead. Oh yeah, the little blood splatters, they weren't in the game, like on school Chromebooks, since extensions are blocked, you can have dark mode, so the canvas is just white, and the blood would really pop out. There was a key to get rid of that. I'm pretty sure it's the grave key, so there's that. Pretty sure the blood image thing was, I think, both an optimization and a bug fix. More optimization, but still a mix of both, I'd say. Pretty sure it just draws random circles if, from the center. Yeah, that's what it does. And then this is the code that actually... No, this would just make a circle, my bad. Yeah, this is the thing that actually, spray circles everywhere. The blood update would just put image data, which I believe is pretty optimized? I don't know. FX code is self-explanatory. That's kind of a nightmare. I'm gonna be honest. Anyway, So we have ticked a string. I'm pretty sure when you complete the game, they tell you your times. That's what this does. Yeah, that is what it does. Uh, Useful comment, I guess. Current level index. These nightmare arrays, I didn't hard code, well, hand code. It is hard coded, but I didn't hand code it. These came from the editor. Uh, so when you were done designing your level in the level editor, you can press enter. It give you no, when to make a alert, it would make an entirely separate like tab where it would have this kind of stuff. I think I believe that was kind of a struggle. Yeah, right here, level process. It takes level index. I'm pretty sure these are like, this would describe the size of a single block, and then the size of those blocks. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think it's used in the game. It is used in the editor though, so that's why it's there. The editor can also load in this stuff and understand it, and so you can change it. So basically, a crappy form of saving. Jeez, my voice is not doing well. I loop through it. For each of the colors, you would have a corresponding color. So, like, say this one, and then have a 0, and that would correspond with this. And of course, the greater number, different number, different color. Then the level drawing is I probably was not having a fun day that day. It just goes through this. I'm assuming it's a bit hacky, judging from the comment. This one, I did code by hand. Yeah, I code this one by hand. That was not a fun time for me. Low am. Nice. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty sure I did not like coding this. Why is there a multi-line comment? I'm pretty... Oh, I think the reason is, like, in Visual Studio Code, if you do a multi-line comment like this, and, all down one line, but when you press enter, it automatically format it. I just never cared to undo it. So, yeah. And I have indexes. I don't care. You know what I'm talking about. So, indices is so stupid and unnecessary. And so just go through it. Probably the dirtiest code. This is what starts the game. 5 lines, very simple. Oh, the square one, this is a fun one. I know this is kind of like a God script for the physics and stuff. Not a smart decision on my part. Yeah, you have all that. Oh, that's actually kind of funny. The game's literally... Oh, I literally tell you to go outside. That's pretty funny. Jeez. You guys become masculine like Andrew Tate. You know. You have to ask me why I wrote that. Okay. Uh, does all this fancy stuff. Ah, my eyes. So I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah. Um, if I go ahead and load up the game, it. Oh, there we go. So yeah, it's kind of like shaking the final one. Holy crap, this is. Oh, well, there we go. So the LR function would basically have generate a random time for this. So if I refresh the game and do this again, it's going to be a different value. So every time it's unique. And also I need to enable mortality and clear the blood, because YouTube probably won't like it. I'm not too sure if this is possible. As again, from all my levels, I don't think it's really possible, and I'm pretty sure level exporter didn't really export the levels that well in terms of the vertical lines. So I'm pretty sure these are all single blocks, which is kind of funny. I'm really going a rant. Thank goodness. I bet that's ending soon. So have a text thing. Yeah. Let me to kind of go on around about like vector and such. So I could have playing JavaScript, and as you would imagine, that's not really exciting. That's rather the opposite. It's mind-numbingly boring and mental torture, to say the least. When Brendan Ike created JavaScript, or as it was called, Mocha, like a while ago, he only had like a little over a week. And as you can imagine, if you only had a week to design a language, it's probably going to be very terrible. And that's not to say, that's not an insult to Brad and Ike, it's rather the opposite. The fact that he made, like, kind of working language, even though it's terrible, that's actually really impressive, like in 10 days, I believe. It's impressive, but it's terrible, and we're suffering the consequences of it. Websites will take forever to load because of JavaScript and trackers. That it's enabled kind of a mess, so it's not the greatest thing. I started working. I think after that game, I did a rewrite of it. Not really a rewrite, just kind of redid everything. I don't feel like going into the code that much, so I'm not going to. As you can see, kind of nice code, I guess. Very separated from the dumpster fire that is JavaScript, and also it's web API. So that's pretty much all it does. It's a tile system, I guess. I know there's a design document going into it, because this engine was made for a very specific game in mind, so it's kind of, what's the word? Like getting a... So I was kind of designing the engine to serve towards that, because I believe the engine should serve the game, not... The engine should serve the game, not the other way around. Vector code's all the same. The drawing, I redid. Because in Squarism, if you like resize, the game wouldn't take that into account, but here it is. Yeah, so you have all this stuff. Freedom, kind of nice. Layers, kind of works like similar to squarism. Let's see, event, you dummy. Event's the same. Just I cleaned up the code a little bit. The mouse is basically the same. And the 1/10, I turned it to 0.1. I believe that worked out better. I'm not too sure. From when I can remember developing it, a lot of stuff was. It's fine. No, what's the word? Yeah, I forked squares, sort of. I didn't really. Oh yeah, and the swizzle function, if you put in a 0, it will just put a 0 there. So, like, stuff that would be very verbose in like Godot or Unity is just a simple function. I believe that function paid off in my opinion. This just checks collision. It's actually very nice. I like it. Yeah, the initialization was kind of a doozy, I'm gonna be honest. I had to make a band-aid function. Movement's cool. Solid object. The tile. Samples are like 50 lines of code. Jeez, my voice is getting worse by the minute. I'm gonna have to stop soon. This is a platformer code. It's still a bit messy, but miles better than Squaresum. Also taking into account that it actually works. Yeah, when I was developing this, the development process was much smoother. So that was a rewrite. I've spent like a while in JavaScript, and obviously that's not good for anyone. So I got back into stuff like C and whatever, and honestly it was kind of refreshing. You know, it's small, it did its thing. You didn't have to worry about stupid type things or whatever. Although there still was like type checking and stuff. Much better than JavaScript. Just lets you get around it if you really want to. JavaScript forces you to get, force and get around types. With C, you can choose to do that, which is really nice in my opinion. Yeah, that's basically it. I love C. It's an awesome language. I can't record anymore. All right.